Okay, all right, there we are. Welcome, 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 everyone. Grand and glorious day to you today on this amazing day where life is occurring. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's a beautiful day here today. And I'm grateful to spend this time with you. Thanks for coming along in this new series, This Energetic Life. And these are the strategies, these are the factors, these are the pillars for keeping our health. And it starts in the kitchen, doesn't it? Oh, I got a little Bubbaloo there, a little cat scratch. And of course, that'll be the only thing I'll notice in this video, isn't it? But today I want to talk to you about the importance of lowering our blood sugar. Actually, the importance of getting off sugar and the blessing that intermittent fasting has become in my life for being able to navigate my own blood sugar. It was interesting, whoops. It was interesting to me recently when I found out that Alzheimer's is now the #1 killer in Great Britain, and that they're calling Alzheimer's actually type 3 diabetes. And I found that so amazing because we know that we are being force-fed sugar because it devastates the immune system. But now we're seeing it go even further than just promoting chronic disease of cancer, heart disease, diabetes. Those are the top 3. Now Alzheimer's. I found that very interesting because we really don't talk about the damaging effects that sugar has on this very delicate system. Now, we're hardwired to love sugar. We're hardwired to remember where sugar was back when we were only navigating on instinct. So we would be cruising through the forest and we would be foraging or hunting and we would be gathering and we would find the honeycomb, the honeybee hive. And we would remember that pathway back to the beehive, more so than like where maybe we found, I don't know, the deer or the rabbit or something, whatever we might have been hunting. That's kind of our hardwire because sugar is, in its natural form, it's 10 o'clock somewhere. Started a little early today, but I'm trying to create this groove in my daily routine to be here at 10 talking to you, 10 o'clock my time. But we're hardwired to remember that wonderful treat that sugar was. It was a treat, and we would have to bust a move to get to the hive, to indulge in that, and then we would bust a move back to camp or home, therefore burning off all of that sugar. We were majority fat burners in the past, and when we are in fat burning mode, also called ketosis, you've heard a lot about ketosis lately. That is the preferred way of being, the preferred energy to burn is fat. When we're in fat burner and we ingest a little sugar, we just burn it off within 30 minutes. If we are only a sugar burner, we have to keep taking in more sugar because we're burning it off in about 30 minutes. So it's that long, slow burn that ketosis gives us. And the easiest way to get into ketosis that I have found was when I started this journey a year ago. Actually, well, I've been on this journey this whole lifetime, but in realizing that the damage that the sugar was doing to me, because I was a sugarholic. Sugar was my first drug as a kid. And we did not have much sugar in the house because my mother knew. My mother was a big proponent of sugar blues. Do you remember that back in the 70s? So when I got off when I got off toxic wheat more than 5 years ago, and then realized that even organic wheat was causing me to be fat and bloated, really, all the time, and I've lost, 4 inches in my waist and lost 20 pounds, 25 pounds probably. I probably put 5 pounds back on because I just got I just got too thin. Um, it's not true. You can get too thin, and I guess you can be too rich. But anyhow, I digress there. Um, for myself, when I started navigating this, I started with the intermittent fasting, not realizing what that was doing. I mean, I knew it was creating benefit in my body, but I didn't realize that what intermittent fasting does is it bumps us right into ketosis, fat burning. So I try to go as long in my day. I started with only eating between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. That was a year ago. And then I got to the point to where I could go what I call the warrior fast, where I could go 20 hours without eating and then just eat for 4 hours. And mostly, I'm grain free. All right, cheated a little bit over the holidays and really regretted that. And got into a little sugar over the holidays and really regretted that. But I was able to quickly correct that and notice that just sticking to the intermittent fasting was the overall arching, what would we call that? Foundation, I guess, for my eating and maintaining being an energetic fat burner. So if sugar is the problem, and it is the problem, designer sugar specifically, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, sucrose, all these created in a laboratory somewhere, products that the body doesn't recognize. And I've seen people that I've worked with where they get these weird deposits, usually lower, right, because of gravity, but really weird deposits, especially people who ate like a lot of designer sugars, maybe something that was called aspartame, Splenda. I don't even know what they call them anymore. Stay away from them. Whatever was in the blue, yellow, and pink packets, stay away from those. And then those designer fats that just really cling to our insides because our body doesn't know how to process that. It's not fair to the body. And then what this high sugar does to the gray matter, it makes us stupid and moves us into something else that they can diagnose and then medicate, which is the dementia. I remember when I was a kid, and I can't remember what the occasion was, maybe a birthday party. Didn't go to a lot of birthday parties for this very reason. I had so much sugar, I was actually kind of hallucinating at night. And my mother knew what that was. And the next day made sure that I got back on track quickly with increasing my protein. That's what she knew to do. I would say now we would want to increase our good fats, eliminate the sugars. But the sugars also come in hidden form in our fruits and in carbohydrates. So with true ketosis, you are less than 50 grams a day. I try to go for less than 100 grams a day I try to take only good, high quality carbohydrates. And when I needed to put on a few pounds, I went right back to potatoes, and it came on, the weight came on very quickly. But it also helped me improve my sleep. So instead of taking carbohydrates in the morning as I used to, because it would give you the day, it would start with maybe a 12 grain cereal or something like that. I now will take a little bit of carbohydrates at night. And when I was at the peak of my ketosis, I was very strict for about 120 days. And into that 5th month, I started noticing that I wasn't sleeping. And so I would take a little high carb at night. and restored my sleep. Interesting, huh? Because it takes energy to sleep. So I used like a half a tablespoon of pure, wonderful maple syrup. That's not a recommendation. That's just what I did to bump up my carbs at night so that I could sleep. And majority of the time I sleep well. We must have sleep. That's another thing that is devastating to our gray matter is lack of sleep. But mostly just want to talk to you today about this whole sugar thing. This sugar thing is horrible. It's hideous. It's outrageous. It's devastating to the immune system. You ingest sugar. Let's give kids super sugar bombs and send them to school and realize that their immune system has shut down for 8 hours. And where are they? They're in this little germinator called the classroom. Nobody gets outside. Everybody's already sick. Everybody's already medicated. They really don't stand a chance, and it's very, very sad to witness from my perspective. One of my favorite books that I'm reading again, that I was just turned on to in the last year, and I wish I would have given it to every mother I ever knew, ever. And it is the book called How to Raise a Healthy Child in Spite of Your Doctor. And I'm going to link a current video with Dr. Jeff Senchel from Diverse Health Services office, and he really breaks it down beautifully on what we are doing. What are we doing to these children? Why now are we more unhealthier than we've ever been? Maybe since World War I, but that was also eating that was when they first started introducing this toxic food. When we fled the home and became industrialized and just so wise, right? So smart with the industrialization of this world. But what we did was we really kicked wisdom to the curb. We gave up being in our homes as women. We gave up nourishing and nurturing. You know, the kitchen somehow became an anathema to being a woman, where you would just come home and serve your family off paper plates, something that you just grabbed out of a window on the way home. It's not shaming anybody, but this is really an awakening for you, I'm believing, because it is so important for us as women to take back this nurturing role. If you've chosen to have children, it is our obligation as those who have chosen to have children, I do not have children, to nurture and nourish them. Nurture and nourish them well. Read those ingredients. If you don't know what it is, go online and find out what it is. Why are they putting it in there? Thing that is causing me a bit of additional concern, because I've been reading labels for 30 years, is that, and I've really seen, believe me, the change. You know, red dye number 4, believe me, that was probably the most innocuous thing or whatever it was back then. Now we have 90,000 chemicals that we are bathed in every day. That does not include what's raining down upon us from the skies, and we'll go that. This is not the class for that. We're sticking with the sugar and the added chemicals in our food. So I would be a very diligent, ingredient reader. And I've been noticing recently that some of the things that I've been using for years now have some of these additional chemicals that are not needed, that are just deliberately dampening our body's immune system. So let's investigate the intermittent fasting. Prepare yourself to be able to go as long as you can in the morning, and just try to extend that each day, and then create a cutoff time. I like 6 p.m. and I try to be done. Of course, last night I was kind of munching. Jeff was coming home late, so I was kind of snacking on the chicken that I made for him. And, so that was about 7 o'clock, but It's after 10 now. I'm going to try and go till noon. I've been trying to really be in that window of breaking fast between noon and 2, and then just enjoying whatever I prepare until about 6 o'clock, and then getting into that ketosis for 12, 14, 16, 18 hours. Being that fat burner, body loves it. The body loves it. When we're a fat burner, we're in a catabolic state, which means we're breaking down those things like I talked about, those mysterious little growths, or, I've seen people that have had ankles and feet that are this swollen with this additional bad toxic calcium, bad toxic things that the body does. It can't get rid of them, so it stores them in other places. Majority, we store it in our toxic fat around our waist. That's why we create this, this fat waste. This toxic fat waste is really toxic. That white fat around the middle is loaded with these chemicals because it's protecting, the body is so self-healing. It's protecting our glands, our organs, our brain from these chemicals. But once we get to that tipping point, that's when, the shit really hits the fan. Excuse me. So continue to read your ingredients. Continue to read your ingredients, up your water. Be present in your body. Use your energetic system. You can always muscle test yourself. Bring this. Does this make me weaker? Does this make me stronger? That's a whole nother teaching that we won't go to. We want to, right here is the seat of our immunity, right at our heart chakra, which I find just so profoundly interesting. And we're going deeply into this energetic field this week, this month, with this series. And we thump the thymus, because the thymus is the gland that shrinks, and it cannot create excellent immunity. So when we tap our thymus, it awakens it in a beneficial way. Now, so many of the over-immune responses, as the body starts to eat itself up with this hyper-immunity, that's the word, we still want to be present right here. So we want to be the eye behind the eyes and imagine this beautiful glandular endocrine system. This was all called the Holy of Holies in ancient times for very good reason. These are our this is our endocrine system, our endocrine glands, and the thymus is the master tool for our immune system. And we just want to be present with it and be very relaxed and very calm within our entire bodyscape. We call that the full body awareness. We're going to now engage that powerful pelvic point, also called the Mula Bandha. It could be a Kegel if you're not familiar with that. And we're just seeing ourselves being just fully awake and aware. The eye behind the eye. From the top of our head to the tip of our toes. All the way around. And just allow this wisdom and guidance to come to you. It will come to you. This is what I have found. This is what has been researched. This is where we're moving. We're going deeply within so that we can have a better experience here, better experience here, better experience out there. Better experience in our home, setting an example for everyone and living in our home in a way that is peaceful, loving, light, nourishing, nurturing, healing, holing, healthy, happy, grateful. That's it. That's it. All right, about 20 minutes. Wishing you well. Thump that thymus. Read your ingredients. Wednesday mornings live. If you've signed up, you've got the code to get in on these live calls so that I can take your questions, and we can talk about really just got to get off that sugar. Got to. No other way about it. No other way. It's not too late. Body's self-regenerating. That's the difference between allopathy, which is what we go to the doctor here, which all the pharmaceuticals are linked to. Allopathy does not believe that the body is a self-regulating instrument. It believes that there is absolutely no way, without interference, that the body can heal. And they poison, they cut, and they radiate. Now, if you're broken or bleeding, there's no better care in the world. Get thee in and out and get stable and get home and get healing and holy for your life. All right, that's all. Have a great day. I'm wishing you well, you know that.